So I watched a couple movies that were released today on VOD. The first being Mara, the second being Cold Skin. So first up, let's talk about Mara. I will be doing my Cold Skin review in a different video, but just want to let you know, just so you know. So Mara stars Olga Kurylenko from Quantum of Solace and Hitman. Funny story. I don't know if I've ever told this on here before, but there's this scene in Hitman where she walks in and she talks to the hitman and she's topless, and Olga Kurylenko is gorgeous. And so my brother and I were kind of obsessed with that scene, so we threw it on loop on our DVD player and just had it in the background as we were hanging out, as we were talking, as we were doing stuff. His girlfriend came over, she was hanging out, we were all just chatting, this and that. It must have been on the screen for like 3 hours. It was crazy how long we had that playing on loop. Like, don't worry, I don't bite unless you pay me. Like, the line kept going over and over and over again. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Boobs, man, they never get old. She does not show her boobs in this movie, though. So this movie reminded me a lot of like Japanese horror. You know, like a Grudge or a Ring. Like a Ring is probably a better example, just because of how Mara, or Samara, right? Samara, however the hell you say that girl's name, moves. Because the once you see Mara, she's the sleep demon. She moves and she's like, every time she moves, and she's like moving weird, and it's like in the dream and the distorted version. Like, it's very, very J horror. So if you're into that kind of horror, I think this is definitely something that you would enjoy. Now, I thought the movie was fine. I think it was good. It was standard fare. It felt like it felt like an American remake of a Japanese film, which I wouldn't be surprised if I went and looked in the IMDb thing to tell me that it is. I don't think it is, though. I think it's original. But so the film is about sleep paralysis and a sleep demon that comes for you in the night, which was kind of been a theme for a few movies lately. We got that like documentary horror film called The Nightmare, and then there was another one recently called Dead Awake with Jocelyn Donahue from House of the Devil. I watched that one. I did not watch The Nightmare. Both are on Netflix. But Dead Awake I thought was boring as shit. It actually almost put me to sleep to then put me in harm's way of the sleep demon. So it was almost ironic in a way, because I do suffer from sleep paralysis. It says in the movie like 40% or something insane experience sleep paralysis. I do. It's horrendous, man. If you've ever had it, it feels like, every second feels like 5 minutes. It's just unending. So you're just like laying there, and if for some reason you don't know what the hell sleep paralysis is, you're lucky as fuck. Or maybe this has happened to you and you didn't know what the hell it's called. But it's basically when you fall asleep, your body becomes paralyzed by it, just so that it can't hurt itself, so it won't walk around. So like when you're dreaming, you don't hurt yourself, get up, whatever. And then sometimes you'll wake up mentally, but your body hasn't woken up yet. So you're laying there paralyzed, and you're just sitting, and you can barely breathe, and you can barely move, and you can almost open your eyes just a little bit, and it's really weird. I mean, it's probably just what people who are completely paralyzed from the neck down. It's probably semi-similar-ish. Of course, I'm not trying to compare myself to one, but I just, you can't move, and it's fucking terrifying. I've had it happen so many times in my life, and it usually happens during, times in my life when I'm super, super stressed out, and I'll have them like 15 times in a row in a night. And then I'll have them for like a week or two, and then I won't see them again for 6 months, a year, and then I'll have a ton of them in like succession over the next week or two. Definitely seems to coincide with stress. But I've had them so much now where I'm just kind of calm when it happens. When it happens, I hate it. But you have to, like, the way I do it, I don't know how everyone else does it, but when I lay there, I push and I push and I push as hard as I can in my head to move my body. And as soon as it's like, I can feel it swelling and swelling, not talking about my dick, and then I just burst out of it, and I just kind of, and like I can't, it's funny because like, it's nothing, and then boom, explosion. It's fucking crazy how that feels. So if you've ever had sleep paralysis, you probably know what I'm talking about, but you just kind of like, because I'll be trying to breathe, and if anyone's laying next to me, I'll be like, that fucking horrible sound, and I'm like, no one's ever actually acknowledged it and been like, Jason, or anything. So I'm not sure if that would wake you up or not, if that would pull me out of it, if someone actually grabbed me because they knew I was in it. I'm always trying to get the person's attention who's laying next to me, but they seem to never be doing so. Maybe my noise is nowhere near as loud as it seems in my head. But yeah, just coming out of it, it's fucking horrible. So you don't ever want it if you've never had it. I suffer from severe anxiety. So I think that's probably, yet another horrible symptom of it, if there's not enough already. So there's a psychologist played by Olga. Her name's Kate, and she is called on to a scene of, a murder scene, and this woman is there, and she has her kid, and the husband's dead, and they think that she's killed the husband, and she's supposed to come in and assess the situation to see if the girl's crazy or if she can stand trial, whatever. The dude brings her in, so he's like, I want you to see what we're dealing with here. Like, I don't want you to just make some, because she's a rookie. He doesn't want her making some like quick judgment. Like, no, you need to understand the severity of what's going on here. And so, the woman tells Kate here that that this sleep demon named Mara did it, and of course she doesn't believe her. Everyone laughs her off, and then Kate starts to experience this phenomena with Mara here. So, and then the film goes on like that, and it's stalking her dreams and everyone around her. It's kind of like a Freddy Krueger thing where no one wants to sleep, and as I said, it's pretty typical standard fare. But if you're into J-horror, or if you just like movies about like sleep demons and whatnot, because I know there are people out there who are into that kind of subgenre, it's good. It's fine. I like how Mara looks. I like the way that the distortion of reality feels kind of like sleep paralysis when she's in it. The way the camera kind of just, I don't know, it kind of shakes and tilts and moves just like a little. It's just very subtle. But there's something about it that makes it feel almost chaotic. And that's the way it feels when you're having it. So I like the way that they kind of manipulated the camera or the footage or whatever to make it look just like it's kind of not right. And that you're not right. Like, you're not in the, in reality, you're kind of in this in-between, because your body's in between sleep and consciousness, like awake. So yeah, anyways, now I want to get into some spoilers really quick. So spoilers from here on. Well, actually, before I do that, I want to point out that Rebecca, who also watched this today, she told me that the name Dougie, one of the characters' names in here, was uttered too many times, and it was fucking pissing her off and taking her out of the movie, and it was just over the top. And she told me that she says it like over 200 times that she'd be willing to bet. So I took a tally of how many times Dougie's name was said in this film. Now, the the actual count of Dougie's name being said in the film is 41. And 15 of those were from other characters, and 21 of those was from Kate. So, did I do the math right on that? I wasn't really looking. Wait, is that... Oh, it's 26. Yeah, 26 and 15. 41, yeah, there you go. So 41 from everybody, and only 26 from the main characters, which is what she kept talking about. She's like, Kate says it so many times. And she's like, towards the end, it gets insane. She might say his name 3 times in the end of the movie. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. So, Rebecca, no. No, the name is not. Honestly, I think he says Kate's name more, but she was kind of stuck up on the name Dougie, and she thinks that's such a ridiculous name. So I think it's just, it's like blue car syndrome. Once you hear something, you can't get it out of your mind, and you fucking just keep hearing it over and over, and it's becoming annoying to you. As soon as she focused on it. Anyways, that's not a point. I just thought it was really funny, so I had to point it out because I actually sat and I took tally here. So yeah. So the movie starts off, spoilers. It starts off with Kate here in a suit. I have a big thing for women in suits, and I also have a big thing for Olga. So it was like a perfect combo. And then she makes a promise to Sophia that she doesn't keep, and she tears. That ends up being what all this is, right? So at the end of this movie, they're trying to figure out what the hell's the connection, what's bringing them all together, and what brings them all together is a huge tragedy kind of brings Mara out into the world, I guess, somehow, I don't know. And then people who are feeling guilty that are connected to one person is susceptible to Mara. I don't know. It's weird. That's if there's a big tragedy from somebody, and then they bring the demon into existence, but then that person bleeds it over into someone else, who then bleeds it over into other people, and the guilt spreads. I liked the explanation a little bit more in the movie, but as I'm saying it out loud, it kind of doesn't make a ton of sense. And I'm not going to sit here for 30 minutes like usual explaining why that doesn't make sense. I think it's kind of self-evident. So one of these guys, after Dougie tells him that he's, I think I'm going to say Dougie's name more than this chick. After Dougie has told all these people they're going to die, this guy goes out and he lights himself on fire like a protester. Why? Of all the ways you can kill yourself, I guess he's trying to purify himself in the eyes of God. He's he's committing suicide, but at least he's doing it in this way. Whatever. But all the damn ways to douse yourself in a flammable substance or liquid or whatever, and light yourself on fire, that is the dumbest way. But the way the body looks when they come to the scene of the crime after it's been burnt is awesome. The hand is just left, and then the bones and it looks great. I also like the look of the dead bodies in this after Mara has had her way with them. They're all neck is snapped, and their eyes are red as all hell. And then let's see. The footage of the wife or the mom or whatever dying on the footage, I suppose. Come on, that's some serious evidence to what they're all saying here. What the hell could have possibly caused that? And I'm not sure why it seems to hit certain people faster than others. Like Dougie and all these guys have become experts on this, but I guess Doug's hasn't slept in weeks, so he hasn't entered stage 4 yet. And Kate keeps falling into sleep, so she's entering it faster than her. And then of course we get the crazy guy Dougie. We got the crazy guy explaining everything to us. Well, he doesn't really know, but he has, of course, the typical trope of putting all the pictures on the wall. And then later in the movie, she like rips them all down, but then puts like a bunch of new ones up and then does the string. Why does that have to be done in every movie? Why does that have to be done in every fucking movie where a guy has a whole wall of everything and then strings to each person? Like, I get that it's an effective system, but every fucking, seriously, in so many movies. It's in so many. It's crazy. Isn't there a different way? Guess not. Yeah, you got to watch out for stage 4 Mara. It's like stage 4 cancer. They could have come up with a different term. Stage 4, really. And then this guy's only been sleeping 20 minutes, as I said, for weeks on end. And I want to say like Einstein did that, like did 20 minutes, like little cat naps, and then like 2.5 hours, and then I remember reading about that. Correct me on that. I'm curious, and if I'm remembering that correctly. If it was Einstein, I think somebody. Speaking of sleep, I need it bad. And then Dougie tries to cut his own eyelids off so that he won't fall asleep. That is hardcore shit. I wonder what would happen. You couldn't blink, so then your eyes would dry out, right? You'd have to constantly keep lubricating them. Oh, one of my freaking watchers here, Katie, she has to do that because one of her eyes is messed up, so she has to like insert lubrication like all the time. That was crazy. I remember her telling me about that. Shit, just hit me. I just remembered that. That sucks. That sucks, Katie. So a little shout out to Katie Wu, who I talk to in my comments all the goddamn time. She is the coolest chick. Let's see. Yeah, I like that the doctor who keeps telling her like, this is bullshit, come in the clinic, we'll take care of it, whatever, gets to see it for himself, and he's sitting there and he's like, I'm a man of science, like I go off of facts and I go off the way, I don't even know how to process this. That's basically like how I would be. I'd be like, no, like this is destroying my world. Like I can't. I'm too grounded. This is probably why people can't let go of their religions, right? It's about the same thing. I mean, science, I guess, is my religion, and anything shown to the contrary, I'd be like, no, there's a way I can figure this out. So I should probably stop giving religious people such shit for not being able to let go of their stuff. Yeah. We already talked about that. She goes to fall asleep at the wheel here. And oh my God, am I the worst at this? For some reason, over the last X amount of years, I can't fucking stay awake when I drive for longer periods of time, especially at night. I don't know what it is, guys. I hope that you're not watching this video later on in 6 months or a year or 5 years from now, and you're like, oh my God, this is so sad because he died at the wheel while he was driving. That's gonna suck if this is, oh wow. That's crazy to think about, that this video will last longer than I do. It's a wild concept, isn't it? I'm dead right now. Someone's watching this right now and I'm dead. Oh my goodness. Trippy, right? Hopefully it's not my kids. Oh, hi guys. But yeah, when I was watching this, it was just like, oh, I hate that. I hate that fucking feeling. I gotta figure out what the hell that is that makes me like that, because I don't know what's going on, but man, I cannot drive at night for a longer period of time. Sometimes I can, so it's not always, not constant. It's just sometimes, and it's usually when I eat wrong foods. So I think it might be a blood sugar thing. I'm gonna have to look more into that. And so she goes to the daughter, because the daughter is feeling the guilt, and she convinces her that it wasn't her fault, and then the daughter forgives her, which exonerates her from her guilt, I expect. And then she goes to sleep, and she thinks that she's beat it, and then when she wakes up, she realizes that the bear hasn't been stitched, and she's still in a dream, and the mom tells her, I'll never fucking forgive you, you cunt. There you go, Katie. There's a word we were talking about, a great word. Your friend needs to lighten the fuck up. yeah, this girl's like, you cunt, I'm never gonna fucking forgive you. And then Mara comes in, and I really like the ending here because it's like really slow, creeping, and then she floats up into the air, you know, and then boom, comes down, end credits. Like, real grim ending. I dig it. I like the way how long and drawn out Mara coming at Kate is, and when she like lifts in the air. I thought that was a really cool shot. And you know, horror movies typically end, you know, not happy for the most part, so it's kind of typical. But I don't know. I dug that ending. So as I said, overall, it was good. It was fine. It was just, you know, it's a movie I was glad I watched, and that's about it. But it's like $7 right now to rent it on Amazon or whatnot. So I'm not sure it's something you all need to rush to. Hopefully, as usual, you've seen it if you're watching, but I know some of you don't. But anyway, yeah. So real quick here at the ending, I would love to promote my my shirts and such, but I'm so bad at that. I never know what to say, so I'm gonna have to come up with something. I need some like pre-recorded stuff at the end, but that's just so lame. But I don't know. I just love the idea of some of you guys out there having a Slasher Sunday shirt, or Rebecca just made a really cool shirt that says "Gore Whore," which is a phrase that I use a lot. I'm a gore whore, and she and a couple other girls, Ashley Grady and Leela, are all gonna pick up or already bought some gore whore shirts there on my what the hell's that website called? Like Spreadshirt, right? So yeah, for some reason you guys haven't checked that out. This shirt's pretty damn cool. I'm waiting for mine in the mail. Like, everyone seems to have got one but me, so that I can promote the damn thing. But I'm terrible at promoting. I'm not going to try to pretend I'm not. But I don't know. It's not a money thing, I swear to God. I love the idea of some people out there having some cool Sinister Cinema Review shirts. I like that idea. I love connecting with you guys, and hopefully you'll share them with me if you buy them. In some pictures, go on Instagram and tag me, or go on to the Killer Flicks group and tag me, because that would be badass. I'd love to see you guys wearing those shirts. So anyways, all right, I gotta move on to Cold Skin.